That was the number back in 1976. An arena record for barrel racing, Cheryl Burke. Just last year, to be so consistent on the triangle course to win all of her rounds was Sydney Blanchard. The teamwork between horse and rider was duly noted in 2006 in a tie between June Holman and Jolene Sykes. A true number 3 Stampede moment.
We're back at the Calgary Stampede, and it's the ladies barrel racing. Melissa Hollingsworth's doing the color for us this week, who discovered the best way to avoid housework was to live outside. Melissa, World Cup Circuit champion of the skeleton, bronze medalist at Torino, and a great barrel racer. Trying conditions for the event today, Doug Dirk, so you and Melissa can maybe set that up.
Thanks, Ron. Of course, Melissa has had an opportunity to actually get into that infield and run the barrels here before the rain started, of course. What was that like?
Yeah, and the ground was amazing this morning. It was tight, it was safe, not shifty underneath the horse's feet, and then the downpour happened. So now we don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be muddy, and it was awesome to go around the barrels myself. Oh!
Yeah, let's take a look at you riding around the barrels, not at full speed, of course.
Yeah, you know, that was really funny. We ran out of a saddle, and so I got to use Jake Reinhardt's saddle, who he was in the team roping and the steer wrestling saddle. But it was awesome for me to just feel what the ground was like on Tammy's horse. I'd never rode that horse before until this week, and it was a great opportunity for me to learn.
And of course, someday you'd like to be back here running those barrels as a professional barrel racer. You're on the circuit now. Looking forward to that as we take a look at the 4 qualifiers for today's $100,000 showdown. Lindsay Sears of Netton, Alberta, just down the road here from the Calgary Stampede ground. She's a former world and Stampede champion. Sue Smith, Carly Pierce, and the 2009 Stampede champion, Tammy Fisher.
Rodeo 101, brought to you by Tervita.
You have the option going to the right or the left, and Jolene is a great example for our 101. You see that pocket as she goes around. You do not want to cross in that space. Knock the barrel over, it's 5 seconds. She goes in the second barrel and she sits deep in the saddle, and her horse can turn. Now she's up over top of the horn, forward momentum. It's all about the race. The straight of the lines, tight of the turns. One lady will be $100,000 richer at the Sunday at Calgary Stampede.
Here we go now with the final 4 in barrel racing. There's a look at Lindsay Sears, the 31-year-old from Netton, Alberta, just down the road from Calgary.
She's on her great horse, Martha. She's talking to her in her ear. She comes up the alley. This is their routine, and that's important to have that connection. Horse and rider. She knows how she runs, and this is where they go. They go to the left barrel first. Doesn't matter. You go to the left or the right. Martha is not feeling the ground here today. We weren't sure what it was going to be like. The bucking horses were handling it just fine. She's going to go through, just trot through the pattern. This is going to be a schooling run for her. You can see this is what she would do at home, doing slow work on Martha. She's going to come up to the barrel. She wants to move her hip into the barrel. That keeps her underneath, so she has that confidence coming around, powering out of the barrel and coming home. She's just going to have a slow time here today, completing the pattern. That's still $10,000 for Lindsay if she finishes 4th out of these girls.
Lindsay Sears trotting across the finish line in a time of 43.46 seconds. We've had this discussion previously this week, Melissa. That horse is worth a lot of money.
Yeah, you cannot replace a Martha with $100,000. That was a tough decision for Lindsay to make, to run her here, but you know, it is still $100,000. With it being that unsafe for her, she was not going to push her to 2nd and 3rd.
Sue Smith now from Blackfoot, Idaho.
She's on Claimer. She decided to stay with him. It was a tough week for her. She had knocked some barrels, but to be here in the final 4, she's ecstatic. We'll have to see how he handles the mud. The mud comes up and splashes their bellies. That's why you're going to see some different reactions with the horses. If they've been in this type of pen before, they're going to run sound and fine. He's handling the ground perfectly. His feet are underneath of him. He's standing up straight. She's having a great run here today.
Sue Smith to the finish line in a time of 17.53 seconds, and given the current footing, that is an outstanding run.
And it looked effortless for Claimer, who is a dash to fame great breed.
Carly Pierce of Stephenville, Texas. The time to beat, 17:53, posted by Sue Smith.
Carly decided to stay on her horse, Dylan, even though he is not a mudder. He's the one that carried her in here. She has another horse, Flirt, that's Frenchman's Guy, but she decided to go on Dylan. He is extremely fast, and he has an ugly style. That's what she says. He goes past the barrels, rolls back. Really straight and stiff running style, and he does not like to run home. Let's see if she can get her whip out and get him to run to that gate. He does not like a closed alley.
Carly Pierce to the finish line in a time of 18.74 seconds. That's more than a second behind our leader, Sue Smith.
And that's what makes rodeo horses. Horses that can run in all different types of conditions, whether it's wet and splashy like this, or if it's great deep ground. I'm excited for this next rider to come up.
There's Tammy Fisher of Ledbetter, Texas, the 2009 Calgary Stampede Barrel Racing Champion.
You want to talk about experience? Watch how she is going to set up calm and braking, turning him around very quickly to go to the first barrel, whipping him. He can handle himself in any type of condition, running hard to the barrels, turning, finishing the turns. That's what she's been working on all week. She has experience as a $100,000 winner. Let's see if she can take it away from Sue.
Time to beat 17:53, and that is a 17:81. Tammy Fisher cannot catch Sue Smith of Blackfoot, Idaho, and she cannot believe it. She is the 2012 Calgary Stampede Barrel Racing Champion at the age of 57. That's $100,000. So it will be Sue Smith of Blackfoot, Idaho, the $100,000 winner. Surprisingly fast time in the slop. Tammy Fisher, 17:81. Carly Pierce, 18:74. And Lindsay Sears of Netton, Alberta, World and Stampede Champion, 43:46. And here's a look at your winner. Her reaction, if you're a lip reader, was, holy cow, really, me? $100,000 richer for Sue Smith of Blackfoot, Idaho. And here's another look at Sue Smith of Blackfoot, Idaho, as she rounds the barrels. What a tremendous performance. Her horse just smooth as can be in some terrible conditions. And she gets it done in a terrific time. And she's standing by with Christina Barnes.
Sue Smith with an incredible run today in barrel racing, especially given the conditions. Talk about the effort that Claimer put in.
I was so proud of my horse. He just tried, and I had to run him like 6 times for this because I had to come back in the wild card. And I'm just so proud of him and excited that he just got better. He just stayed good. He was good all the way through. I just hit some barrels, so I had to come back in the wild card. But I'm really, really proud of him.
You both did great today. Congratulations. You're going home with $100,000.
Thank you. I'm excited about that too.
Christina Sue Smith, second lap.